We would like to dedicate this episode of our show to one of our listeners. We received an email from Dr. Kimberly Glenn informing us that one of our listeners, Dr. Janine Shante Skinner, was found slain in her apartment on Friday. Janine was a listener of the show and she loved the podcast. She was a woman growing into her own, a professor at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and a leader of her students and faculty. She studied psychology and gerontology and was a researcher at Vanderbilt University and Meharry Medical College. We just wanted to honor her life and to thank her for listening to the show. We hope that something that we said at any point was, encouraging to her, and we just wanted to take the time to honor her and dedicate the show to her.
We have spoken multiple times about the level of responsibility that we have with the show and how serious we take it. And we hope that with all of our listeners that we're able to not only say something that resonates with you, but to also offer you some form of relief in any experiences that you may be dealing with right now. And that's what Keia and I want to make sure that we do with this. So we definitely want to honor Dr. Janine Skinner and her life and dedicate this episode to her.
Thank you for letting us know, Dr. Glenn. And like Jane said, we just hope that you guys continue to love one another and live on purpose. Life is super short. We're grateful for the time and the life of Dr. Skinner and all the lives that she touched, her students and her colleagues. And we really just wanted to honor her with Getting Grown.
Hello, sister.
Hello. What's going on, guys?
Well, it's 2 holidays today, technically today.
Correct. That is correct.
It is a laborious day weekend.
That's actually quite accurate. Yes, it is. Laborious.
AKA nigga weekend in Brooklyn. So I just want you all to know that this episode will be full of sound effects that did not come from our producer, especially since I live in the bush.
Yes, I want you to try your best not to get shot.
I'm trying so hard, sis. Like, I'm trying so hard, but I'll get to that. And then today,
yes, Lord,
is Queen B's birthday.
Happy birthday, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. We want to thank the Lord for the gift of you. We want to take this time just to give you just a shout out, and just say that, we appreciate and acknowledge your work and contribution to all things Black, beautiful, and brilliant. We speak your name.
Yes,
we speak your name. Happy birthday, Beyonce.
I love your face. I
knew you were going to sing.
You love the taste. That sugar bread.
Yes.
It melts away. I can surely lick your lips.
I love Blow.
No, sis, you were there for date night when Nikki sang. Were you there? Did you come for that?
I was not. I was supposed to sing.
You were to sing background with Drew, sis.
I couldn't get there.
Shout out to Drew. Shout out to Broadway Black. Shout out to
the running man. Shout out to the running man. You know what I'm saying? Drew is the running man because Drew is totally incapable of singing a straight note. You ask Drew. You ask Drew to sing absolutely anything. Drew is the running man. Drew will run you down to the ground, honey. Drew, sing ABC. He'd be like, hey,
B, C, Lord,
D, F, G. He'd be like, Drew.
And then We did Blow with Nikki. Shout out to our sis Nikki, Texas Hummingbird.
Indeed.
He was doing the backgrounds, him and Antoinette and Drew.
He's not able to sing background. Drew, he doesn't have the range. He's going to leave.
Turn that cherry out. Turn that cherry out. Turn that cherry out.
Turn that cherry out. Whoa. Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
Lord.
Run us down. Everybody
Run
support
us
Broadway
down,
Black. Go to www.broadwayblack.com and get all your information about all things Black on Broadway. We love you, Drew, and your blonde hair.
We love you so much, Drew Denna.
Drew Denna. Drew Denna was Drew Denna before Drew Denna. Hello.
He was. Drewish.
Yeah. Drucifer.
Drucifer. You know that's my favorite.
Indeed.
Anyway. Hello, listeners.
We can't stay on track for anything. This is why we're trash.
No.
But yes, praise the Lord, niggas. Welcome back for another episode of Getting Grown. Now that we're 4 minutes in, we'll decide to welcome you. Thanks again for listening and commenting and subscribing and sharing and telling your friends week after week after week. We are so super happy to be here. It's September. My God, the summer is over. And
Virgo season.
Yeah, man. So yeah, what's up, sis? What's going on?
Ain't shit. I'm just out here just trying to, live. Live on this weekend of so much niggery. Shout out to everybody who came to Makosa and supported in the rain. Niggas were buying nachos in the rain. We did West Indian nachos.
They look delicious.
Oh my God, sis. We did guava barbecue, marinated chicken, and we did it in all ginger and jerk and all kinds of spices. And then we did a spicy like chili cheese sauce, not actual meat, but chili flavor, smoky. And we did some curried beans, Trinidadian style, cilantro crema, some homemade pickled veggies. Shout out to us. We'll get to us soon. How was your weekend, sis?
It was cool. I got a lot done. I had a massive to-do list from the week. And of course, I had some things that I needed to take care of on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I set a goal to kind of do one major task Friday, Saturday, and today actually, because I didn't do anything yesterday. Sunday was my self-care, but I made it through my to-do list. I'm really jazzed about that. I met all my writing goals last week. Woo!
Hey, now.
Really excited. I was very excited because I have tons of typing to do this week, so I need to stay on task with my writing goals. But yeah, other than that, I'm just adulting. Rest in peace to my car. My car is dead. It's gone. The Lord had need of it. Fury made a great point. The Lord had need for my car. He's helping the disciples to run errands up in heaven. And I said that we just, if I had to sacrifice my car so that it could be used for the upbuilding of God's kingdom, I'm willing to do that. And I believe that the Lord is going to bless me with another at some point.
Oh, he will, and very soon.
Yeah, man. I had to, deal with all the things that come with getting in a car accident and having them total your car. So it's been rough, but I'm all right. It could be worse. And
we're so happy you're safe.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep on keeping on. That's all I got. That's what I did this weekend. Just kind of, that was the adulting that I had to do last weekend that kept me from coming to Afropunk and all that other stuff. But I
want to let y'all know that Keia made it to the Friend Zone Live. Okay?
I did. Even after that, white women tried to destroy my life.
After the accident. That happened that weekend. So we're so happy that our sis is safe and sound. Rest in peace to Little Silver.
Anthony.
Our nigga dead, but he's all right. And he is, like you say, he's going to run errands for the disciples. They're all going to go to Coco. That's how the Puerto Ricans in the Bronx say Costco. Are you going to Coco? So I'm glad you're all right, sis. Welcome, listeners. I know it takes us a long time. It's like sitting down at a table and the server doesn't bring you water until like 5 minutes. You're wondering where they are, but we're here. So with so much hydration for you.
Indeed. Because who in the hell wants a ashy
soul?
Yes, indeed.
Shout out to Dustin.
Insecure. Let's just do this really quickly.
Let's do it.
What are your thoughts on last night's episode? I don't even remember what it was called. Hella something or other. It's hella everything. What is it? Hella terrible.
I didn't see it yet.
What? Oh, girl, you should have told me.
But it's fine because I want to know what happens because I'm one of those people that doesn't care about the surprises. Why are you one of those people? When because I say I don't care and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to get the same reactions naturally that I would have had before I found out anything, just tell me.
Nah.
Because I want to hear.
I don't want to sit here and recap the entire show. That's what insecurity is for.
Every Tuesday, listen to our sisters.
We can just wait until you've seen it. Just know that the dinner party happened.
Just tell me
lying.
this.
Dro's
just
lying.
Tell me. I was
lying.
Okay, I was like, is Dro lying?
Padma's lying.
Wait, how's Lawrence lying? He ain't even got nothing to lie about.
He's just a lie. His life is a lie. He doesn't know. I'm sick of him, and I'm sick of his little Indian co-worker. I don't know what her name is, but I call her Padma. She's messy. Stop. I don't like her. I'm coughing. Don't laugh.
What are you calling this girl Padma?
Her name is Padma. And she inserts herself in things that are not of her concern. And
Did
I don't
that white
like
girl
it.
steal his app yet?
Oh no, girl. We've moved on to other things. He and Padma have gotten together. They hung out or something.
I saw
and
that
they're
coming.
Like, child. Lawrence ends up. So they make plans. I will tell you this. They make plans to hang out again, but Lawrence had to come to her and tell her that he already RSVP'd to go to what's the little blonde hair girl that get on my nerves. What's her name?
Wait, who? Her, who? Oh, and Amanda Seals.
What's her name, child?
Lord Jesus, I can't remember.
She just drains my batteries. Anyway,
stresses me out.
She had on Tamar's wig, but anyway, she had
which one?
The blonde one, girl, with the blonde roots.
Old Faithful. Okay.
Terrible. But she's had a little dinner party for her husband.
Right, and the one who was sleeping on the couch for a year.
I have a theory, but we can talk about that later. She had a dinner party for him. Derek is his name. I don't know why I can't remember her name. So Lawrence was invited to the dinner party. He goes up to tell Padma, "Oh, I forgot I had to do this thing, right?" And do you not know that she invited herself? She was like, I could just come with you. I said, what kind? Who raised her? Who raised her? How do you invite yourself to a party? What? And Lawrence was so trash. He just let her do it. And the nigga wasn't even, Tiffany is the girl's name. He didn't even call Tiffany. He didn't even call Tiffany and say, hey, I'm bringing somebody. He just showed up with Padma in tow.
Can we just stop real quick and just talk about people who bring people and don't tell you that they bringing people?
Listen, this is why you're the host. Don't nobody come to my house. But
it's
you the one who be hosting things.
It's rude. Just call me. Just call me ahead of time. Because let me tell you something. Niggas buy food. You know what I'm saying? There's a budget. You account for a certain amount of people so niggas can have seconds. And potentially thirds. And I get it. When the food's out, it's out. But don't go to anybody's anything without calling them ahead of time. And it's really kind of rude to call the day of and be like, can I bring somebody? But it's better that you call than just show up with another nigga in tow.
Well, that's what Padma. He did. A Padma. He showed up with Padma in tow. And she tried to come. She don't even know how to she just coostless because she want to get out there and make jokes. Like, girl, we don't know you. Shut your mouth. You're here with Lawrence. We don't even like him. So why are you here? Okay?
Why is he here?
Why is he here? And nigga, who are you? You cracking jokes. Ain't nobody laughing at your dry jokes. Girl, get your
Wait, so okay, let's get to Dro. So Dro's been lying.
So I would just say that Dro and Candace came to the dinner party too. Their interactions would not lead anybody to suspect that Candace is A, aware of the fact that she's in an open marriage, and B, aware of the fact that open marriage consists of a relationship with her good Judy Molly. It's just clear to me. I said that yesterday on Twitter. I said, from watching the dinner party, I have adequately surmised that Dro's relationship is closed like Chick-fil-A on Sunday. It is just not open. It's not open. It is closed. It is closed. Closed. And Molly, she just sitting there looking dumb. She couldn't even sit next to Dro and was just sitting on the other side of the table pouting while he was all.
About to say Drew.
I was. I wouldn't do Drew like that though, because Dro looks like a machine. We talked about this last week.
Yes, we know. Yes, a transformer.
Exactly. But it was just a lot.
Bumblebee.
It was a lot. It was so much. And I was just over it. I'm sick of Molly. I'm sick of Dro. I'm sick of Issa.
I'm so sick of
Lauren.
Issa.
I'm sick of all of them. The only person who I enjoyed really was Kelly. Because
Kelly is always enjoyable, even though Kelly wants to fuck Derek.
Who's Derek?
Derek is Tiffany's husband.
Does she?
You don't remember all of those little side comments that she made? It might have been 2 episodes ago. She was making all these little side comments. She's like, she's like if I want to like fuck Derek, and it was like what? Wait, what? She made like a couple little side comments about a thing with Derek.
I love Kelly's relationship with Issa's brother, right?
Yes, they're like Pam and Martin.
I love it. I love it. It just brings me so much joy. He gives her so much. She gives it right back to him. At one point, I don't remember what happened before then, but they got the dinner party and Kelly the bread was on the table. She asked to pass the butter, and Issa's brother made a face like,
bitch, you don't need no butter.
Or something like that, right? And she was like, butter, nigga. I was like, oh, that is absolutely me. Nigga, did I stutter? I said I would like the butter. What's wrong with you?
Nigga. Nigga, I said the butter.
She was like, butter, nigga. Butter. I was like, thank
the
you.
motherfucking butter, nigga. You heard me the first time.
Oh, it blessed me. It blessed me. I just love it.
And most of her lines are ad-lib.
Yes, I did.
She's a comedian.
Oh, man.
She cracks me up. She is actually the enjoyable character on the show. She cracks me up.
I'm grateful for Kelly.
Well, I can't wait to watch. I will give you my thoughts next week. I don't care if it's late.
It will be late, but that's fine.
It's fine because next week is my birthday.
And next week is the finale. So
it all goes hand in hand, and we will be able to talk about it and celebrate the closing of Insecure. Even though I'm really sad. Like, that seems so fast.
Episodes, I'm really salty about that. I feel like a full season is at least 10, 12.
The first season is usually 8 episodes because they want to see how it does. Insecure was picked up so quickly because it did so well, and I'm trying to figure out why they didn't extend to 10 episodes.
I mean, it's just like happening all so abruptly.
Really stressful.
Yeah, the previews for the finale seem like they're going to leave us in the same disoriented and completely like we're all going to be feeling just as awful as we felt at the finale of season 1. Like, we're just going to be like, I feel like it's going to be just as cliffhangery as it was before.
Oh, and, of course.
We will have much to talk about until Insecure returns for season 3.
Cannot wait because it got picked up.
Did
my sis is popping right now? Like,
shout out to my sis.
And shout out to my brothers, apparently.
Right. Yeah, you know what? And we're getting quite a bit, and I love it, actually, because Black Boy Joy, you all know how I feel about that. Chance the Rapper just makes me really, really happy. So, this is actually really, really, really dope. Keia and I had some good conversation about it, and neither one of us, we are going to say that we haven't been able to read it in full yet, but we have every intention of doing so because Keia brought out a good point. Art is there to make us think and to give us conversation. And so in that vein, we're going to read an email from Brandon. Hello, cousins Jade and Keia. Hey, boo. I love this podcast and y'all are amazing. For shout out to my sis, I wanted to highlight some amazing people. For all of the hood scholars like myself.
Yes. And myself as well. Thank you.
Yes, all my niggas in the whole wide world. I wanted to make you all aware of syllabus that was created for 444. This work runs parallel to the Lemonade syllabus, which was created last year. I've had the privilege to get to personally know Anthony Boynton, yes, okay, I got that right, who worked heavily on this and is co-creator. I'm so proud of his work and my fellow colleagues' work because they did that. I figured you would appreciate this as they are all team typing fast. Yes. Also, special shout out to Isaac and Jamila. As Jade has said before, we out here.
Indeed.
Yes. Love y'all. Brandon, I think that's absolutely dope. What do you think, sis?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy because I think this is another marriage of, two things that I love very much, music and scholarship and reading and learning. Like Brandon said, the Jay-Z 444 syllabus was compiled by a number of scholars. It says the 444 syllabus is a living document created by Black men and masculine non-binary people who are inspired by the labor of Black women, the emotional vulnerability of Jay-Z's 444, focusing on Black men's relationship to masculinity, emotional availability, maturity, sexuality, and Black capitalism. This syllabus provides resources to help us unpack the album's content. There are a host of collaborators, including Anthony Boynton, Anthony J. Williams, Isaac Sanders, Jamila Jones, Whitney Sewell, Joel Jenkins, Terrence Thomas, William Jamal Richardson, Jared Bowman, Jordan Pittman, Brandon Austin, Neil Carter, Daniel Johnson, Henry Washington Jr. And Reggie Cunningham. I hope I did not miss Fred Mason. I hope I did not miss anyone. This is a really long list.
I love it. And the names are very Black.
Yes. So literally, the syllabus really examines the entire album, talks about 444 and the narratives of Blackness, embracing love and emotion, sex and sexuality, gender fluidity, Black nationalism and colonialism, wealth and capitalism, Black fatherhood, Black mental health and wellness. I think, and what they've done is they've actually compiled different readings, and whether they be journal articles, poems, podcasts, all kinds of digital content, and they have links that send you directly to each medium. I don't know. So literally that kind of help us, like the summary said, unpack the content of Jay-Z's 444. I think this is absolutely awesome. Just like I thought the Lemonade syllabus was pretty awesome. You know, whether you agree or disagree with the actual content of the art, you cannot deny the fact that art is supposed to inspire us to think critically, and, you know, engage in meaningful, substantive discussion that, you know, not only moves us individually forward, but moves us forward as a people. So I am all the way down in here for the 444 syllabus. We will include the link to the syllabus. It's a Google Doc in the link in the description box. And thank you again, Brandon, for sharing this with us. And we will share it with other listeners who are interested. So y'all make sure that y'all check this out.
Absolutely. They put in the work. Like, they worked really hard on this. And again, like Keia said, even if you don't agree with the content in the doc or you don't agree with the opinions, the conversation itself is just something that we need to have as a community. And I know 444 grew on me. And it's also fueled many conversations with different people about various topics. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. We will put the link in the description box. And then maybe one day we'll have a conversation on it, actually, after we both finish reading it.
I'm down, like full flats. And we're also going to feature another someone who's near and dear to my heart and a part of my individual team for Shout Out to My Sis. I would like to shout out Joe the Barber. Joe the Barber is my barber now. For those women out there who are like myself and have short haircuts and have had short haircuts for some time, the barbershop is a place that is a very interesting for a woman to have to navigate. And
it's like street harassment, all bottled up in one little tiny space.
I don't want to knock all barbers or group all men into, you know, this generalization that they are, you know, harmful and creepy. But I will say that I have been in barbershop settings as a woman, and I have not necessarily felt safe. And I've sat in the chairs of barbers who, you know, I don't even want to say intentionally did this, but, you know, either way you slice it, their conversation, the way they interacted with me really bordered on the lines of inappropriate at times. So I was I had reached a point where I got tired of barbers jumping in my DMs and all kinds of things. And I became very diligent about finding a lady barber, a female barber, to cut my hair, and I was able to find an excellent barber in the person of Joe the Barber. I will leave her contact information. She's also located in Silver Spring. She has a private suite. She does awesome work. I will leave her contact information in the description box as well. I would like to shout her out. She is my sis, and she keeps me together.
I mean, the back of Kia's neck is always draped up and dripped out. So
listen, she's beastly with it. So if you are a young lady who has a short haircut and you would like to go to a barber and feel comfortable there, I will share Jill's information with you, and I encourage you to reach out to her. She's very professional, very timely, and very good at what she does. Everybody, we're shouting out Joe the Barber. Y'all go support her, show her love, tell her Keia said Keia sent you. Amen.
Support Black business.
Indeed.
My sister-in-law has short hair. I was telling you that, and she actually calls my husband like when she wants to go to the barber to see either if he's going or if he could go with her, just because she doesn't always feel comfortable in that setting. So I know Keia and Ayana are not the only people who have gone through that. So definitely check out the link in the description box for Joe the Barber.
Indeed. And listen, I mean, I never really would have known this before cutting my hair, but like, you know, it's an intimate situation. A barber, you know, it's a for all intents and purposes, it's a man that you don't know touching your neck, touching your face, being very close to you. And he is in a position of power in that, you know, if you he can jack you up. Like, you know, if you're rude to him, if you shun his advances in a way that he doesn't agree with, he can set your hairline back behind your ears, and then what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? So
I know, just be out here looking like
it was a very interesting. It's a very interesting place to navigate. I really tried I didn't want to cast all male barbers and negatively, because I do believe there are good barbers out there that are respectful. I'm not at all saying that, but after 4 or 5 times of the same thing happening, I decided that I was going to change my approach. And since I have found and secured a very competent and professional female barber, I feel much better about my situation. So I hope that, you know, I mean, if you don't live in this area, I would implore you to seek out. I mean, there are women barbers all over the nation. I would implore you to, you know, jump on apps like StyleSeed and Yelp and just search for women barbers. I'm sure that you will find one in your area that can help you out as well. It's time to gather around the kitchen table once again, boys and girls, for some good grown folks talk about grown folks things. Sis, so what are you snacking on this week?
A cup of coffee, because we're recording at a decent hour.
Amen. Isn't that awesome?
Coffee, almond milk, a little turbinado sugar, nothing fancy.
Turbinado sugar? Nigga, that's fancy.
I don't use white sugar because it's bleached.
I'm saying that. It's not a judgment. I was just making an observation that you have fancy sugar in your coffee. That's awesome. I actually had a good cup of green tea, and I had a Larabar, a cherry pie Larabar, because I am addicted to cherry pie Larabars. I love Larabars. And
you call me fancy.
Cherry pie is my favorite flavor. I don't know why. I just literally buy them by the handful, the case, and I just be going through them joints. And
you should check on Amazon.
Yes, I mean, it's a guilt-free snack for me because, you know, they're grain-free, gluten-free, all natural, and I'd be like, I could eat this in a good conscience. In good conscience. So, shout out to Larabar and the cherry pie Larabar.
Shout out to your green tea. You better get your antioxidants up and whatnot.
Listen, you know, I'm out here trying to preserve my sexy. It's important.
You are living your best life. I'm over here with this Bustelo, but you're over there.
So,
Bustelo.
yes.
I found all these Bustelo K-cups.
And this week at the kitchen table, we will be talking about back to school season.
Hey.
It is September and summer is over, and we are staring down the barrel of the final quarter of 2017. Can you believe it?
No.
I can't either, but here we are. As we mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, we wanted to do something along the lines of kind of a back to school episode. We did get some emails from some listeners. I'm not going to read the full emails, but just I've gone through and kind of picked out what the questions are. So we will touch on those. But more generally, we're going to have a larger conversation on, you know, what if we applied the concept of back to school to our everyday adult lives? Some of us are going back to school, yes. Others of us are starting new projects, new jobs. But what if we all just approach the start of a new season from the perspective of what can I change about my behavior to help me kind of reach the goals that I've set for the final quarter of the year? What if it's a new marking period for all of us? So in light of that conversation, I guess, should we begin with the questions from the email, or do you think we should start with our conversation first?
Let's start with our conversation, and then we'll get into some emails and some tweets from some listeners.
So let me ask you, what are some of your goals for the new season?
Okay, so this is what I was waiting for the kitchen table talk. You guys know that Jade of all Jades has been a thing. It's catering, it's mixology, because I am heavily involved in the cocktail business as well, for those who don't know. But I've partnered with My Sis Santana, who you will be able to find in a couple of months at Thanksgiving. Can you believe Thanksgiving is coming up in a couple of months? On the new season of She's Gotta Have It. I'm so proud of her. But she and I have come together with our two companies and formed a catering company by the name of For the Culture Catering. So I think my goals for the end of this year, I've had a very hard goal to quit my corporate job going into 2018. And so I've been really, really, really trying to hustle hard behind my catering company, behind Jade of all Jades. And so I think this new venture and this new collaboration is going to really boost some things for us and really put me in a place where I'm able to achieve those goals. So I'm working really hard at that. Marketing, taking it really seriously. Another goal I have is to make sure that the Gettin Grown platform is taken very seriously, and we're able to, because we say it every single episode, but I don't even know if I'm answering your question. I might be rambling myself, but the community we've built is, I don't want to get emotional, but it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. We talk about the listeners who come and say hello, but on a larger scale, just you guys' interaction, the love that you show. I'm not even really getting any negativity from this. Like, the positivity is so overwhelming. And Keia and I both have multiple conversations about making sure that we take this platform seriously. And so being able to continue to grow this into something even bigger is an honor and a privilege, and something that I take really seriously. And I want to make sure that I put that work in to see that happen. So those are some of my hard and fast goals. What about you, sis?
Awesome. So, like you, I'm focused on building and honoring where we are, where I am in the process of other goals that I've set for myself this year. So, like, seeing things through is really a goal for me as we look forward toward the end of the year. I also want to be more diligent about my finances, being more intentional about them, just keeping better track of, you know, what's going out, what's coming in, and also thinking more critically and more intentionally about saving and thinking about ways that I can not only just, generate income, but generate wealth. Mm-hmm. Like, truly trying to change my perspective and change the way that I think about myself in relationship to money. Because, money is very much a mindset. And I think observing things throughout my childhood and the way that my family has had to interface with money, has really kind of influenced and almost limited and narrowed the ways that I think about money and working and that kind of thing. And I really just want to be more informed about and more empowered to make better choices and be strategic when it comes to, being a good steward over all the things that I have. And, wealth for me means multiple streams of income. That means, I want to be making money when I'm asleep. So however that, and utilizing all the talents that I have, and not just relying on one or two. You know what I'm saying? My job is my job and I love it. And I will always honor and be diligent in doing what I have to do there. But I have other talents that I could also market and use to have other income coming in. So that's one of the things, or a few of the things rather, that I'm looking forward to being more intentional about as we approach the end of this year and 2018, the coming year. So I know that you sent out, I know that we posted a tweet yesterday asking some of our listeners what their goals were and some of the things that they were working towards in this last season of the year. So you want to read through some of those?
I do. We'll keep it brief, but We got some really good ones from people about some hard and fast goals that they have. We asked the question as we enter the last quarter of the year, what are some hard goals you'd like to achieve and or start working on? So we got a number of responses from people, and we got so many different ones. We had Mikey Martin, who said making healthier decisions, more water, more sleep if possible, eating right, more exercise, and going to the doctor regularly. Not my favorite. I found that to be one of my favorites because Blacks don't tend to go to the doctor when we should, as much as we should to get checked out, especially Black men, if we're just going to call it what it is. And so to hear a Black man say that he is going to start going and getting himself checked out at the doctor just to make sure that he preserves his health and also drinks more water. Shout out to you for that. We have a lot of educational tweets. Getting this dissertation proposal completed so I can take this oral exam and get closer to this PhD. Amen. We have some moves. Somebody's getting ready to move to LA. A goal is going back to school for my second BA and work my way to the PhD, but baby steps. Listen, every step forward is a step in the right direction. Maintaining my credit score. That's important because we always talk about there's so many of us who need to work on our credit. We need to build our credit, but maintaining is also so key. You don't want to get too comfortable. And so to see somebody say that they have good credit, but they want to maintain that, I think that's awesome. Keep minding my business and making myself proud. Amen to you. Mine's is letting hurt go from my kid's father. My goal is to not hate him truthfully. I think that's very honest. Shout out to you, sis, for that. That's a very immediate goal that you can reach, and that's something that you can work on with yourself. So I think that's awesome. Continuing school for my degree in psychology, working on my relationship with my parents, and making sure my Black don't crack. Hey! Losing these damn stubborn 10 pounds, improving my credit, and ending the year strong as fuck financially. Amen. Personal goal, being more vocal about when I'm not comfortable in a situation or setting. I think that is very key. When you learn the technique, please share. That's what somebody else said. Make sure you guys are talking to each other. That's what this is all about. Get back into my workout groove after being in this accident, tapping into my creative side, meditation, and closing this chapter. Somebody said they want to take a year off from teaching and figure out what it means to serve themselves. To be known for giving can mean takers target you. That's from Pedagogulist. Yeah. Pedagogulist said that. So that's very awesome. Taking a year off from teaching, figuring out what it means to serve herself. I think that's awesome. Staying focused and not getting discouraged. That's something that we have to constantly speak to ourselves about. And that can be a goal that we have often throughout our lives, constantly encouraging ourselves. Don't second guess myself as much. Take more chances, especially when it comes to expanding my fashion blogging business. Being more organized, starting my twin blog, writing a book. And then somebody said, finishing what I start, aka write. Right, sis? Get my own place. Don't jump too hard for that, okay? Bills happen every day. Take advantage of whatever your living situation is. Learning about finance and how to save money. Managing anxiety and doubt better so it doesn't have such a strong control on me. That's from Lanisha. Getting back in school, getting these last 30 points on my credit score to enter the first-time home buyer program and finish my book. Hey, team typing slow. Team buying house. Come on. So we have so many awesome tweets. You guys can definitely check them out in the thread. But Keia actually has some really dope emails to read from some listeners. I think we should get into that.
All right. The first one comes from someone called who's referred to themselves as Confused and Stuck. She says, hi, Keia and Jade. While this question is directed more to Jade, she says she would love any advice or similar life experience that I might have to offer, so I'll do my best, sis. She says her ultimate goal would be to further expose the world to my motherlands, Liberia, and West African food in a more contemporary way through media. I want to learn about the traditional cooking methods and find ways to teach and feed it to the world. I guess my main question to Jade is, was your dream always to work in the culinary industry? How do you pivot yourself from where you are today? What advice do you give to someone who has no experience in culinary arts besides a sporadic cooking class or personal cooking and family recipes? Considering culinary school in the spring next year for all the technical aspects, but do you think that's necessary? Is there another way to get your foot in the door of a new industry you weren't necessarily educated in? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, and keep killing the podcast game, ladies. Confused and Stuck.
Well, thank you, sis, for writing in. I'm gonna try to make sure I try to answer your questions. No, that was not always my dream to work in the culinary industry. I started off in a plethora of majors that ranged anywhere from environmental engineering to sociology and human services. I've always cooked. My mother is a chef. She has a catering company. My mother is also a hustler. She's had 95,000 jobs in my entire life. And she's always been good at every single one of them. But she's always been an amazing chef. And I've, will work alongside her, help her out. And I think it was maybe about 2011 when I got laid off from my job at Sony that I said, all right, like, what am I getting ready to do with myself? Because I don't want to work. I don't want to work in social work. I don't want to do it. I don't think I want to go back into music. It's a little bit too shaky. So what am I going to do? I picked up bartending again, which is what I did in college. And then I started working with a chef where I did a guest spot with him for about 3 weeks. And it kind of fueled me into being a sous chef for a number of executive chefs for different events around New York and in Houston as well. I would go down to Houston and work for a few weeks. But I started Jade of all Jades and kind of realized then that we live in an age, in a digital age where social media really helps to fuel a lot of things. So I've had luck of getting some amazing platforms in order to boost that. But for yourself, first of all, I think that's absolutely awesome what you want to do, exposing the culinary industry to your homelands and to your different seasoning and spices. I think that's amazing. I love spices and seasonings. That's actually what I want to focus on, and that's what I focus on now. But learning more is always an interest of mine. And so I did not personally go to culinary school. For those who want to know, I did not go. I do want to go just for certain techniques and things that I want to learn, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Social media boosts so many things. It helps to grow that network so quickly. And then, focusing on Black businesses is really huge these days, and we're doing a lot to support one another. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I think to get some of those techniques down, I think if it's something that you can do, you should. That's actually one of my other immediate goals, is that once I finish my corporate job, I'm going to go to culinary school just for myself. But, there are different ways for you to be able to expose people to the things that you want to expose them to. You can come out with an ebook after you've done your studying and really curated what it is that you want to do. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's personal meal prep. There's so many different aspects that you can do in order to promote yourself and to promote your agenda. And so I hope that was able to help. I know I was all over the place with that, but that was some of my personal experiences. So that's kind of how it worked for me. What do you have to offer, sis?
Sauce, man. I mean, we get all kinds of emails about people who are in graduate school or considering going back to graduate school, and they have questions around what advice would I give to someone who is new to a doctoral program, or what advice would I give to someone who is considering graduate school, but it's been a while and they don't know how to get their feet get back involved. So I think I'm going to try to summarize all of that into one answer if I can. So for those, I know we got an email from Shawnee's 1220. She has general graduate school application anxiety and is feeling very stuck because of it. She wants to apply to schools in 2018, but she's hesitant about, whether or not, she doesn't really have a lot of paper, writing samples or, strong relationships with faculty for recommendation letters. I think one of the things I will say about graduate school is that you can kind of stay in that stuck place of, I don't really know if I'm ready. You can stay there for years and years and years if you're not careful. So I think there's really no way out of that rabbit hole outside of just getting out. So no one's application is going to be flawless. A complete application is going to get reviewed. So whatever you need to do in order to complete your application, even if you may not feel like each component is, where you want it to be, it has to be in for them to even assess that. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's been a long time since you've reached out to one of your professors from undergrad, it just starts with a conversation. Reach out to one, pick one that you have built a relationship with, and just contact them just like you contacted us and say, I want to go to graduate school. These are the reasons why. I know that I'm going to be needing a letter of recommendation, and I would love to talk to you about possibly serving as one of my letter writers and, make the job easier for him. Think about some things that you guys did together in their class, lay all of that stuff out. And usually if you have built a rapport with a professor of any kind, hopefully they would oblige you and at least be willing to have a conversation with you about it. So literally just get over yourself and just start. That's really what it's all about. And the same advice can be applied for those people who are starting graduate programs this fall. Don't allow the hype in your head to talk you out of, looking at where you are rationally. So you're in the program, you got in, they would not have accepted you in if they didn't feel like you had the means or the tools or the range to do well. So everybody don't worry about yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. You know how to do school. Graduate school is no different than any other school. You know how to do school if you've gotten into a graduate program. Do school the way that you've done it and be diligent about it. Read your syllabus. Like I don't think that there are any, tools or tricks of the trade that are any different than any other back to school kind of any other place. You know what I'm saying? Like when you were a freshman and you started undergrad, the same rules apply. Read your syllabi, be diligent about your deadlines, and do your work. Like, that's it. It's a bottom line.
And align yourself with like-minded people. Like Keia said, you have professors, reach out to them, tell them what you want to do. They're going to help you, direct you with the necessary steps that you need to get there. For the young lady who wants to get into the culinary industry, align yourself with people who are in the culinary industry who can help to guide you, maybe in the direction that you want to go. You may not want to go the traditional route. You may not want to go the restaurant route and work as a line chef. Like, that may not be your thing. That's not my thing. But align yourself with people who are going to help you to push yourself in the direction that you want to go. And that's going to be a strong encouragement in whatever field that you choose.
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to take work, like, no matter what. So don't, and be nervous. You know what I'm saying? I think that we should respect and acknowledge every feeling, every phase of the process. You're supposed to be scared. You know what I'm saying? I think that there is great danger in you showing up for your first day of being a first year in a doc program thinking that you know everything. There's great danger in that. So you're supposed to be afraid. You're supposed to be ignorant, but just don't be reactive in that. Be proactive about it. Seek out information, ask questions, and do the work that you are required to do, and do it well. I think that's absolutely key. I think we can sometimes get really caught up in the feelings of like, oh, everyone's better than me. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. They know what they're doing. All of that is noise and chatter that is all in your mind to distract you from where you are. So literally, if you are in graduate school, if you want to go to graduate school, you have the means to make it happen like you do. Whether that be just, making strides towards identifying which program you want to apply to, and then figuring out how to put together a fantastic application. Like, at every phase, there is something for you to do in order to get you where you want to go. I also noticed that we got an email from Kristen. She was asking about graduate funding, because I said before, and I believe that, we don't pay for graduate degrees. That was the advice that I received as an undergraduate. I know that doesn't mean that you wait for somebody to just give you what you need. That means that you find ways and you be creative and strategic about supplementing the financial aid that you receive, or getting financial aid if you don't get it. So she mentioned that she was in the master's program and she's trying to navigate, funding about that. Finding funding for master's programs can be tricky. That's at every research university. Typically, funding is usually allocated to doctoral students first. That does not mean that you say, oh, dang, that means I'm not supposed to get it. That means that you get creative and you find other ways to make it happen. And when I was in master's programs, I was really creative. I reached out to the financial aid departments. I asked them about private scholarships and grants that I could apply for. I looked for private scholarships and grants on my own. When that wasn't working to my advantage, I started applying for jobs at the institution that I wanted to attend, because, you know, tuition exemption is often a benefit at universities, colleges and universities. I worked with, you know, I spoke to all the faculty members in the program and let them know that I really wanted to be in the program, and that, you know, I was not financially able to sustain myself. And I asked for them to help me. So, I mean, I got really, really serious about finding the money. You know, the money is there. You just got to find it. Nobody's going to ring your doorbell and drop it on your doorstep. The money is there. You have to find it. And it's frustrating. And you might not find it right away, but you have to keep looking. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be all, you know, hey, this is the way it is. But honestly, this is the way it is. And I'm telling you this because I had to learn these lessons the hard way. And yes, there will be times where you have to take out loans or you have to do what you have to do. But I'm telling you, if you remain diligent on the course of, I'm looking for ways to support my education, you will find opportunities for you to do just that. And those are the emails I wanted to get to. And in the vein, I guess we already kind of started it, talking about some of these things. What are you doing? Chopping down trees over there?
Sorry.
Anyway.
Opening my Fitbit.
So we wanted to offer you some school supplies, some tricks and tools that will help you get on track in terms of making, you know, getting some of your goals from the idea space to the actual implementation space. Because I was talking to Jade about this before we started recording. We're really, really good at saying, like, this is what my goal is. These are what my ideas are. And we can kind of live in that space in our head of like, oh, man, I want to do this. But when it comes down to putting pen to paper and, you know, foot to street and rubber to road and all that, you know, we kind of, you know, that's the scary part. And it may be more challenging for us to think about ways that we could be strategic about implementing the strategies to get to the goals that we want to get. So we hope that these things that we will offer you right now, really briefly, will be helpful to you and getting on track toward realizing the goals that you set for yourself during the last season of this year. So 1, make informed decisions. You have to do your research. The internet affords a wealth of resources. It's all right there. Literally. Googleisha has all of the
always
answers.
by your
She
side.
has all of the answers. If she doesn't know them herself, she will point you in the direction of the person who has the answers. It's all right there. Honor your goals by knowing. You have to, right? You have to honor your goals by knowing everything that you need to know in order to reach them. Like when I was in high school and I was in this program, one of my advisors in the program used to, like, this is how she used to test us. She would be like, you say you want to be a doctor. There shouldn't be nothing I can ask you about how to be a doctor that you shouldn't be able to give me the answer to. So you have to know, if you want it that bad, you have to know all about it. If no matter what that is, if I want to buy a new car, I have to know everything about the car that I want so that when I go in there, won't nobody be able to okey doke me. And everything that, like, I have to, you cannot, make good decisions if you're not informed of all the like, you have to know everything. If you're thinking about culinary school, you have to think about it in the way of, like, you know everything that you need to know so that you can determine whether or not it's going to get you where you need to go. The same thing goes for graduate school programs. The same thing goes for jobs. The same thing goes for home ownership programs. The same thing goes for losing weight. You have to make informed decisions in order for you to get where you want to go.
And nobody's going to do that for you.
Yeah, you have to. And don't expect people to. Even when you ask people to help you, help doesn't mean I'm going to do it for you. Help means, I will tell you what worked for me, or I will tell you where I went to, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to hold your hand and take you through it. Like, honor your goals enough that you're willing to do the work that it takes to realize them.
There's no cliff notes for There's no cliff notes for adulting, but there's no cliff notes for making decisions. There's no cliff notes for buying a car. There's no cliff notes for buying a house, for entering a doctoral program, a culinary program, a master's program. There's no cliff notes for that. You have to make sure, and then the program that you want to study, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You don't want to get yourself into something that's going to be a little bit over your head or whatever the case. You need to find the best fit for you. And there's nobody that can do that. So like Keia said, you have to do your research. You have to look into these things yourself, and you have to be very well versed and very well informed as to what's out there so that you're making the best decision for you.
True indeed. 2, write it down. There's something about writing things down that solidifies your thoughts and set them on the path to being like actual actionable goals. So I know that there are those of us who don't write things down. I write everything down. I carry a notebook with me because most of the time I'll have an idea, and if I don't actually write it down, it will literally disintegrate into the ether, and I will never ever be able to recall it again. So write things down. It kind of makes things real. It's something that you can look at, and it becomes something that you can see versus something that just kind of exists in your subconscious. And that's helpful to me. I hope it may be helpful to you. I don't know. What do you think, sis?
I always write things down. I love Post-it notes. Dustin has spoken about loving Post-it notes. I love Post-it notes, and not on my Mary Jane shit. Like I make notes all around my desk, all around my house. I have a plethora of notebooks. I have notebooks that I keep in my bag. I use my notes in my phone when I don't have access to those. I use my voice notes, but I definitely make sure that I write things down in order. First of all, I have the worst memory in the world. You all know partially why, but I also just have the worst memory in the world, and ginkgo biloba doesn't do anything for me. So I have to write things down, and I have to write things down to make sure that I do them. I physically cross things off. I make lists for myself and physically cross things off so that I can see how close I am to my goal. And it's really helped me in multiple capacities, whether it be work, making shopping lists for catering, even making lists as to how I want to execute things while I'm prepping, and being able to cross those off helps me along the way to continue to reach that final goal. So I agree.
That's what's up. So number 3 is ain't no elevators, B. So after you've done your research and you've made a plan about how, and you've written it down, and how you thought through how what steps you're going to take to get you where you want to be, you have to realize that there ain't no elevators, B. Execution, implementation takes time and diligence. It's not going to be easy. There are things about it that will suck, but you will have to take the steps. Ain't no elevators. You got to take every steps. You got to take the terrific steps. You got to take the terrible steps. You got to take all the steps to get to where you want to be.
You have to go to the York Street train station, the F. There ain't no elevator.
Ain't no elevator. Just like whenever, like, you know what I'm saying? When I was in graduate school, my first year, I had to be a research assistant before I could, have any kind of sense of, wanting to do my own project. And, even after I was a research assistant, I was able to climb the ranks to, be the assistant, the lead doc student on the project and assist the PI. And, that came with different steps. And there was times where I had to do the grunt work. I had to read and clean the focus group data. But I wasn't even read it for analysis purposes. I had to read them and make sure that all the I's was dotted and the T's was crossed. I had to make sure it wasn't 2 commas where it was only supposed to be 1. I had to count the lines. I had to transcribe. I had to listen to the tapes and transcribe. So like all the stuff that ain't nobody else wanted to do. I had to do all of that, of that stuff, literally. Even, when I was, a graduate assistant working on campus, all the tedious stuff that nobody wanted to do, actually, making labels and cutting out shapes and making bulletin boards, all the crap that nobody wanted to do. I had to do all of that stuff in order for me to be where I am right now. Yeah. Wasn't no easy way around it. Yeah. Wasn't nobody to say, oh, I'll do it for you. You have to take the steps. And there's no way for me to be in a position now where I can lead people if I hadn't taken those steps. So ain't no elevators, B. Don't be out here thinking that you're going to be Diddy in a year and a half. You got to take the steps. Like, you got to take the steps.
You have to take the steps.
Literally.
You have to. And I'm not trying to Mr. Me Too you. I'm just trying to make this well-rounded. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with myself. I can only speak from my own experience, but working under a number of chefs, I've had to work with some really difficult people, some true bitches, and I've also worked with some really amazing people. I've worked with people who have really taught me some things, but it's helped me to kind of figure out the direction in which I want to go. And I had to put that work in. You know what I'm saying? And even now, as I'm building the brand, I haven't gotten to the point of success that I would like to get to. I'm still building my brand and still doing my grunt work. You know what I'm saying? So y'all see a nice plate of nachos, but a nigga's in the kitchen slicing up jalapenos. You know what I'm saying? Slicing up red onion, pickling the shits. You know what I'm saying? Cutting up cheese, breaking it down, constantly whisking it, currying beans. It's just steps that go into everything. Cleaning chicken. Cleaning chicken is terrible. For the Afro Latina Festival, we had to clean 200 pounds of chicken. Okay? And 16 pernils, roasted pork shoulder. So I look forward to a time when I ain't got to do that, and I can hire some some kids to come in who wanna work and get to the same level, but they gotta clean the chicken too. But right now I gotta clean the chicken, and so that's just some of the work that you just have to put in. When it comes to what you have to put in the work in whatever it is that you choose to do, and don't think that it's getting ready to come easy to you. Nobody's getting ready to hand you anything ever. Okay, let's be very clear about this. And I know the majority of our listeners are Black, so y'all know ain't nobody about to give you nothing. They ain't about to give you nothing when you ask for it. But if you ask enough,
right,
and you reach out and you do the work enough, it's going to pay off in whatever capacity that comes in. But you got to be willing to do that.
Yes, and that's a great segue to number 4, which is be humble and surround yourself with like-minded people, or people who are doing the things that you want to do, and get inspired. And don't be too grand. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like my boss is, I really, really respect her and the work that she does. And if I get to follow her around when she gets to give talks at conferences and she's the headliner, and I got to follow her around and hold her purse, I am happy to do that. I don't need anybody calling me Dr. Keia. I will be the person holding her purse, and I will be glad to do that because she's doing what I want to do, and it gives me space to be in the room and to watch her do it and do it well. And I'm learning. I'm humble. I'm okay to be quiet and to learn. When I get to go and sit in big planning meetings where they're talking about huge grant proposals, I'm happy to be in the space. And if they need me to take the notes, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna type real fast. I'm gonna use all 10 of these fingers to type these notes, because as I'm typing these notes, I'm learning how to do this. So when it's my turn to write a $10 million research grant, I know how to do it. Don't be afraid, and don't be ashamed to say you're doing something that I want to learn how to do. And can I shadow you? Can I be in your space? Even aside from that, I would like to gain more experience as a makeup artist. And we talking about multiple streams of income and using all of your talents to make coins. I would like to do that, but in order for me to do that, I need to build my confidence, and I need to be around people who do big makeup jobs and see them do it, and do it well.
And you need to get foundation that matches everybody.
Oh, girl, this is not about you. So what I did, I reached out to artists in the area. I did that this past weekend. I reached out to a very talented artist by the name of Allison. And I said, hey, girl, do you need assistance on your bigger jobs? Do you need somebody to come and help you clean these brushes? Because you're doing big jobs, and I would like to book big jobs one day. So I want to watch you do this.
Right.
So that I can be
out your clients, but I want to learn from you.
Just learning and being respectful and being humble and just getting yourself in a position to learn the information that you need to know, and not being too grand in order to do that. So yeah, like Jay said, cut up onions, cut up jalapenos, clean chicken, and do all the grunt work. Don't be ashamed to do that. No. And the final one, because I feel like we need to wrap this up, is find something to celebrate. Find ways to enjoy the journey and throw parties at every phase. One of my favorite sayings is, don't allow the mountains in front of you to distract you from celebrating the ones that you've already climbed.
Hey,
this is for all.
Say it again.
I will say it again. Don't allow the mountains in front of you to distract you from celebrating the mountains that you've already climbed. This is for this is the special shout out. This is one of the things that I had to keep in mind when I was writing my dissertation. You staring down the barrel of the dissertation will help you. It will make you forget all the hurdles that you've already jumped, the hoops that you've jumped through in order to get to this point. You had to pass comps and qualifying exams. You had to put together a dissertation proposal. You had to write it. You had to defend it. You had to collect data. You had to clean data. You had to write up the dissertation. So, you're thinking about, oh man, I got to write my chapter 5. I don't know how to do that. Ma'am, you've written chapters 1 through 4. Celebrate that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Throw a party, take yourself to dinner. When I defended my dissertation proposal, I got dressed. I got into my car, rest in peace, Anthony, and I drove to a fancy steakhouse, and I sat there at that table by myself and ate myself a ribeye. Why? Because I had written that dissertation proposal by myself. I wrote that proposal by myself so I can celebrate myself by myself as well. So celebrate everything. Throw yourself a party. Set yourself goals. And celebrate every phase. Since you have to take the steps,
roll one. I know every time me and Santana make a list when we have events, we're like, all right, we got to do this. We got to pickle veggies. We got to make this sauce. We got to make this sauce, blah, blah, blah. We'll write it down, right? And we cross it off as we do it. And nigga, when we cross off 3 things, we'd be like, yeah, bitch, we want to roll one.
Oh my God. Celebrate yourself.
Celebrate yourself.
Find ways. And I hope that this again, this is not me and Jay sitting up on this soapboxes of
Hell no.
achievement, saying that we out here doing this. We are encouraging ourselves in
A
this
nigga
process.
still cleaning chicken.
Let me tell you something, and I'm still crossing out commas and cleaning data, so and holding purses and glad to do it. And so,
right.
my thing is, we just wanted to let you all know that we are all adulting is a continuous grind. We are all every year learning new lessons and figuring out things and having to do things that we've never ever done before.
Absolutely.
And in order for us to continue to do that and keep progressing and moving forward, we got to keep doing, approaching things with intention and making lists and setting goals and being strategic to realize those goals. So as y'all are out here saving for houses and teaching your children how to read and, trying to travel and take a year off from your job and, wanting to do community service and all these fabulous goals that you guys have set for yourself, let's all work together and encourage one another to do it so that we can be out here in 2018 with all crossed off to-do lists. Like, that's really what the goal is.
And there's no small goals either. You know what I'm saying? Some of you say, I got little goals to lose a little weight or whatever. There's no small goals. Like, goals are there in order to make you a better person. You know what I'm saying? These are things that you want to achieve so that you're at your highest self. And, just like Keia said, make smart decisions. When you want to lose a little weight, don't eat the breakfast sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Eat the boiled egg. I don't ever want to eat the boiled egg. I never want to, ever. I never want to eat the boiled egg. But, every once in a while I'll be like, that's heavy. That's heavy. And a little avocado on the side. Let me stop. I'm about to get into it.
A little salt and pepper, maybe a little garlic powder.
But
you can make the boiled egg work. You can
make it work, but I just don't want it.
It's fine.
The breakfast sandwich is just so good.
Well,
But there's no small goals. You know what I'm saying? Like every goal that you attain is a celebration for yourself. So make sure you're constantly doing that, and don't be too hard on yourself when you're not reaching those goals in a time frame that you necessarily want to. You know what I'm saying? It takes time, and we're all going through it. So know that too.
Surely is. All right, that's Kitchen Table Talk. We're going to move right on to the next segment.
I deserve. Yeah.
Do it till you're satisfied.
Whatever it is.
Hey, do it till you're satisfied. Do it and do it till whatever it is. I deserve. You niggas hate when I sing, and it's gonna make me sing more.
You slid right into that one, Paul. You did.
It is time for Black woman self-care because we got to take care of ourselves.
All by yourself. All by yourself.
You got to use your washcloths.
Oh.
Light your candles. Roll one. I don't know. So anyway, do you have you want me to go first, sis? I can
go first. I'm actually ready.
Okay.
So I was supermarket this week, end of last week, I should say, and I went to Trader Joe's. And when I entered Trader Joe's, I saw a beautiful bunch of green hydrangea.
Ooh.
And I purchased them and I brought them home and I put them in a vase, and they have just been giving me so much joy coming home to these flowers. They are very pretty. The color is just so vibrant and rich, and I just put them on my desk and I sit next to them. Oh, you have green hydrangea. You're such a stranger. I don't know. You look at us being in the spirit.
Look at us, kindred.
So yeah, I love my green hydrangea. That was my Black woman self-care. I saw them in the store. They made me happy, so I brought them home.
Come on, in song. You brought them home in song. That is so funny. That actually is that just brought me joy that we both are sitting here with our green hydrangeas.
Look at you.
I feel so kindred with you.
Girl.
My Black woman self-care this week. Y'all ready?
Oh,
I bought myself some jeans.
It's important.
It's important.
Are they good? Do they cover the full circumference of your behind?
Yes. Let me tell you. A nigga bought some ultra stretch jeans from Uniqlo, right?
How many percent lycra?
I don't know, actually. I should look at that. Probably
should.
100. But
What a jegging.
they stretch for no, they're actually not. They're actually a jean. They have
Wow.
pockets. So I bought some ultra stretch jeans from Uniqlo. Nigga, they fit me so good. They don't make my butt look weird. You know what I'm saying? I have to get all my jeans tucked in the back from the seamstress. So I do need to go get a small tuck, but it's not a big tuck. I was able to like actually wear them this weekend with a shirt that doesn't have to cover like the top of the jean. So I was really happy about that. Anybody who is my sister in the wagon knows that it's hard to find a good pair of jeans, and I was able to find 3 of them.
All
so
right.
I bought some awesome jeans from Uniqlo, and it made me feel really good about the rest of this season.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's sufficient. We're
Yeah,
moving
I
on.
think so. Yeah.
All right.
And I want to be very responsible of the things I say to my sister. Because everybody know I can be real petty. P-E to the T-T-Y.
It's time for the petty peeves. It's time for us to be petty. This is our favorite portion of the show. Portion of the programming. I want it to be alliterative. It's our favorite portion of the programming. Yes. Yeah.
Put your petty on parade.
Put your petty on parade.
Shame, shame, shame.
Oh my
Santana
Lord.
shamed Tristan on Instagram. What's the live? What's the stories? Whatever. She shamed him because he was saying some real off the wall misogynistic shit. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that on parade. I love my husband, but you know niggas can be problematic. And I was so happy to have my girlfriends there who publicly shamed him right on the corner of Borinquen and Marcy Avenue. On Instagram for the world to see.
Okay. All right.
So let's shame ourselves with some of our petty peeves.
You start.
Okay, so it's Labor Day weekend. I live in Flatbush. Y'all know what that means. If you don't know what that means, 'cause I guess everybody doesn't.
Be siren.
That's exactly part of it.
Just keep talking. Talk through it. It's fine.
Labor Day weekend. That's so. I'm not gonna say it. Hold on.
Well, dang. Is it in the living room?
I mean, it really is. God damn.
Don't even take all that.
Just hurry
Probably
up.
going to get a croissant sandwich or something from the
Right,
bank.
because clearly they're not in a rush.
Mess.
So anyway, Labor Day weekend in Brooklyn is a really big thing. We have a very large West Indian Day parade where they shut down Eastern Parkway and everybody comes out with their flags. Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. I know I'm leaving out so many. St. Lucia.
You're not gonna be
Tons,
able to list
everybody.
them all.
I'm not
Right.
going to be able to list everybody, and please do not come for me for that. But it's huge. They shut down the Parkway, and there's also an event called Juve, which is an event before the parade that starts about 2:00 in the morning, and niggas come out and they party in the streets with their flags. And it's, you know, in Trinidad, it's about the party. It's about the fete. But in Brooklyn, which is also about the party, some awful things have happened. I know last year.
Somebody always dies.
Somebody always dies at Juve, and last year in particular, a young lady got shot in the face
Terrible.
for turning a nigga down who she did not want to, who wanted to holler at her, and she did not want to accept his advances, so he shot her in the face. So they have now turned Juve. They started Juve at 6 a.m. this morning instead of 2 a.m., which they normally do, 6 or 7 a.m. But anyway, I came home at 4 a.m. Don't ask me why, I'm grown. And it was me and my husband, and we were looking for parking. Stupid. We should have just parked and taken a cab or like the train or something earlier that night. But my petty peeve this week are niggas who walk in the street. Niggas love to walk in the street. Okay? All through Bedford-Stuyvesant, all through Flatbush, all through Crown Heights. Niggas love walking in the street. They do not observe the walk sign because they think that they have.
I'm guilty as charged.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I cross the street when I want to, when the cars ain't coming. I don't have
Well,
to
that's
wait
what I'm
for the little
saying.
white
That's
man
not-
to tell me when to cross the street. I'm good. I'm
yes,
an adult.
I do a technical jaywalk. I do. I always cross the street. If I have the availability to cross the street, I do so. What I do not do is a slow stroll in front of a vehicle while the light is green. That is not really my aesthetic. I don't believe in that. And niggas love to walk in the street. And in particular, during Labor Day weekend and Flatbush, it is awful. And so my petty peeve this week are niggas who walk in the street. It's frustrating.
Indeed.
What's yours?
Indeed it is. All right. So let me just say this. I think that a lot of people make the grave mistake of assuming that because, okay, first of all, people think that everyone uses social media in the same way.
Right.
And I guess I feel like I think that people should not do that. Like we should, like, just because you tell all of your business on social media, it would be, don't assume that because I'm not telling my business on social media that I don't have any business. And this applies to a lot of different things. It can apply to dating. It can apply to like professional things. Like, you know, there are those of us who have boundaries and who are particular about the things that we share on certain platforms. You know, I think that I have been very vocal about the fact that my social media, my Twitter specifically, it's not an academic space. It's not a place where I get on there and talk about work or the work that I'm doing. It's a place where I vent and talk about the things that I want to talk about when I want to talk about it. That could be anything from higher education policy, broad participation policy, STEM education reform. That could be
basketball
that.
wives.
It could be basketball wives. It could be Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. It could be paprika on devil eggs. It could be, you know, what color nail polish I'm gonna get on my toes. It could be who's taking me where, or when I feel like going, or what I feel like eating, or when I feel like going to bed. It could be Issa and Lawrence and Molly and them. It could be any of those things.
Could be thinking niggas who put sugar on grits are gross. Like,
I mean, it could be anything. So I say all that to say, don't assume that because I'm not talking about the work that I'm doing on social media, like you talk about the work that you're doing on social media, that I'm not doing any work.
right.
There are, I mean, you just, and don't assume that because you're talking about the work that you're doing on social media, that the work that you're doing is better than the work that I'm doing. Okay.
Right.
I feel like the work that I'm doing will speak for itself. And I may not feel led or compelled to talk about it on Twitter. I'll let you read about it when it's published.
Right.
I guess I'm saying that I'm irritated by people who assume that because they use their social media to do things a certain kind of way, that's the only way that people should do it. Or because, you know, you tweet about your relationship and the nigga that you're dating currently all the time, that because I'm not tweeting about no nigga that ain't no nigga. That's what I just think. Right. I think that you should just, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt and don't assume that because we don't handle things the way that you handle things, that we're not handling things at all.
Absolutely. I think that's I mean, we all know the saying, when you assume.
That's it.
When you assume. Yeah. When you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. Yeah. You ain't making an ass out of me, you make an ass out of you. So don't assume anything about anybody's life based off of social media. I know some, unless they're posting, I don't know, people love to post a bunch of memes. You know, I do for myself, like those kind of things. I definitely make assumptions, but outside of that, right. I don't really care about what's going on in anybody else's life because I have too many things going on in mine. Yes, so I can't worry about what niggas is doing.
Just take things for what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't assume that because the only thing that you talk about on your social media is the work that you do, that you don't do anything outside of work.
Right.
So I don't appreciate you assuming that because I don't talk about my work on social media that I'm not doing any work.
Oh, you know another one? Can I have another petty peeve? I'm sorry. It goes hand in hand with yours. Don't assume also just because niggas might take a picture while they're out or they take a video or whatever the case. Like, I get real sick of you all who get on your high horse talking about, I don't post because I'm actually living my life. Who's to say that niggas are not living their best lives just because they post some of it on social media? Now, I guess if you have 25 Insta stories about what you're doing, that might get a little obnoxious, but so what? Who cares? I went to I went to the James Carey Marshall exhibit in LA and posted a bunch of Insta stories because I wanted to save them and because I thought the art was beautiful and wanted to share it with people who might not be able to go to the exhibit themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, just because people are posting videos with their friends, who's to say that they're not having a good time? Like, maybe you don't post while you're out, but that doesn't mean that other people are not necessarily having a good time because they're posting about what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about being showy. So if you just mind your own business.
That's it. That is
drink your water.
That's it. That's it.
Your black will stay hydrated and your soul will stay moisturized.
That's right. It's very simple. These are the rules. We're not here to we didn't make them. We're just here to enforce them. That concludes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 24 of Getting Grown with Jade and Keia. We appreciate you for listening. And we are looking forward to the conversation that will commence in our mentions on Twitter. We want you guys to talk about and react to what we're saying. Put your 2 cents in. Let us know what you agree with, what you don't agree with, what you like, what you didn't like, within reason. Amen. Be respectful. But
sit down.
but yeah, we really appreciate you guys for listening. As
Absolutely.
always, we do not take any of this for granted. We absolutely recognize the responsibility of this podcast and we take it very seriously. And we want to continue to work really hard to bring you guys shows that you want to listen to. So please continue to engage with us and let us know what you want to listen to. And we will work really hard to make sure that this will continue to grow into something fantastic for us because we deserve fantastic things.
Sis, you better say it the proper way. So with all of that being said, make sure that you, again, we're just going to reiterate because we just said it. Drink your water, stay moisturized, and mind your own business.
Because you're black will absolutely crack. Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, say it.
No, because you're black will absolutely crack if it's dry. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.